Hey everyone, today we're tackling a quick and easy furniture makeover for this table I picked up for $50 at the thrift store. It's super cute, I love the style, but I don't love the cherry wood look. I want it to be light and fresh and go with any home decor today, not dark with that reddish cherry wood tone. So we're going to update it without sanding, priming, or top coat. This will be a super quick makeover, very beginner friendly and budget friendly as well. Yep, you heard me, none of the fuss, only the good stuff here. I'm going to show you exactly how I gave this table a fresh new look in just a few hours, so stick around. The first thing we did was remove the drawer pull with our screwdriver.
This hardware is different because the screws are on the outside. Usually the screws are in the inside. Either way though, I love this little screwdriver. It makes it so easy to unscrew screws. Look at how fast that was.
I really like how this drawer pull looks, so we're gonna keep it. If your furniture needs new hardware, check out our video linked in the description on how to fill in hardware holes. Then you can change the hardware to something much better. Instead of sanding, I brushed on this deglosser called Surface Prep from Heirloom Traditions Paint using my zebra round pointed brush. This is the trick to painting furniture without sanding. If you don't sand or prep the surface, your paint has a harder time sticking, which means you get left with scratches and dings over time as you use your table. But if you use the right paint and degloss the surface beforehand, the paint sticks much better. This table was pretty glossy to begin with. You could definitely see a nice shine to it. The deglosser helps remove that shine, which makes the paint stick better. It also cleans the surface. You brush it on all over, then wipe it off. To be honest, I'm always a little skeptical of deglossers. I don't think they do as good of a job as actual sanding. But after using it, I could totally see the difference.
I don't know if you can tell or not, but there definitely is not as much of a sheen on here as there once was. This used to be super glossy, and now there is, I would say, more of a satin sheen than a gloss sheen on this. So that is awesome. It really worked.
But I wasn't quite done with this deglossing process quite yet and decided to go the extra mile.
All right, I just put a little bit more deglosser on the top in the front drawer just to make sure that it is really deglossed. Now this is just a wet rag, and I am going to rinse off any remaining residue that might be on here, just in case. The instructions do not say that you need to do this, but this is just me being a little OCD.
Now the paint will stick to the surface better than not using a deglosser. And the deglosser cleaned the surface for us at the same time. The other trick to painting furniture without sanding, priming, or top coating is using the right paint. I used Heirloom Traditions paint in the color Putty. It's a nice warm gray that goes with all home decor today. You can brush and roll this paint on. I've tried it in the past, and I'll link the video to that project in the description and up in the corner for you. But I personally don't care for how it ends up looking with a lot of bumps and texture. I've heard there's a trick to getting a smooth sprayed on look with a brush and roller, but I have not figured it out yet. Since I really don't like texture in my painted finishes, I prefer to spray this on. And I found the best budget sprayer that is perfect for beginners. It's less than $50 and much of the time you can get it for even less. It's very beginner friendly and comes with everything you need to get your first projects done. I totally recommend this paint sprayer, and I am not being paid to say that. It's so easy to use, creates a great finish, and is very budget friendly. I'll link our videos on how to use this paint sprayer in the description for you. But just a quick overview, I filter and then thin the paint with about 15 to 20% water and then mix it up really well and put the sprayer together. This takes just a few minutes and then you can start spraying. Make sure you lay down plastic and cardboard on the ground, and if you're inside, protect your walls too. You can totally do this outside too. We like to lay down some plastic or cardboard, put the furniture up on 5-gallon buckets, and spray away. Whether you spray or brush and roll the paint on, the first coat doesn't need to be full coverage. You're just looking for a thin coat so you don't get drips and runs. About half coverage is totally fine because you'll come back with a second coat. Once you're done spraying, you can set things down and come back to them in about an hour when the paint is dry. This paint does splatter a little bit when you spray it on, but if you've added water, it levels out as it dries. It scared me at first because I hadn't sprayed this paint in a little bit and it looked really splattery when I started spraying it. I thought there'd be a lot of texture, but it dried beautifully smooth with no texture at all. Oh, and earlier we quickly taped off the inside of the drawer with painter's tape and painter's plastic to protect it from overspray getting anywhere it shouldn't be. All I can say, using a paint sprayer for spindles is a game changer. If you've ever painted spindles with a brush, you know it's a pain. It takes forever. Using a round brush saves a lot of time, but a sprayer saves even more time. It is so fast. I got a coat of paint onto this table in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Using a brush, it would have been like 45 minutes.
Now for the best part, watch how easy it is to spray spindles.
Anyway, if you roll it on, try not to over roll it. Brush it on and then roll over the least amount possible. This paint dries quickly, so overworking it can leave texture behind. I've tested this paint on many projects, even on slick laminate without sanding or priming. I just cleaned the surface before painting, and within a couple of days, the paint was not scratching off with my fingernail. That's definitely not the result with many other paints. I'll link to that video in the description as well for you to see how well this paint holds up. So I personally trust this paint. Now, it's not going to be completely perfect and never ever scratch ever. A properly prepped surface is going to give you better results with the most durable finish possible. Remember though, any painted or stained surface is susceptible to getting damaged if it gets hit hard enough or scratched with a sharp object. The paint can still come off, but that's the case with stained wood and the very best paints. Just be aware that skipping some prep work can make your painted furniture less durable. But if you're looking for a cheap, easy makeover, this is a great one, and it's way more durable than other paints out there.
All right, it has dried for a couple of hours. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yes, that is gonna be so nice. Very smooth finish. It has dried nicely. Obviously, I still need to paint it more, but wow. That's gonna be so cute. I love it.
Oh, and don't let me forget to show you this cool little homemade air scrubber that we use every time we are spraying paint inside the house. It really helps to filter out the fumes and overspray in the air.
Okay, this little box fan, it filters the air, so it sucks in the air from these filters and pushes it up. So this will keep this really small bedroom down in our basement. It will keep it, the air pretty clean.
And the less overspray in the air, the smoother your final paint finish will be too. So I sprayed the second coat. It's okay to leave paint in the sprayer between coats, but I don't like to leave it in here for more than a day. Before painting the next coat, I just scrape off the tip of the sprayer, shake the sprayer back and forth a little bit to mix the paint back up, and then I'm ready to spray the next coat. When you spray it on, this paint has excellent coverage, so I only needed 2 coats to hide the wood color underneath. And you don't need to top coat this paint afterward. That's one reason I absolutely love this paint. It isn't like other all-in-one paints that claim you don't need a top coat. It dries to a satin durable finish that truly doesn't need a top coat, that won't look dirty the second that you touch it after it's dry. This saves so much time and money for each project. After the second coat dried, I cleaned out the sprayer. It's super easy to clean. Don't be terrified. Actually, I prefer to clean the sprayer over a brush or roller any day. You can check out our video on how to clean the Von Forn paint sprayer to see how easy it is. I'll link it in the description and up in the corner for you. After 24 hours, I reattached the old hardware. Thankfully, this hardware wasn't anything weird that needed to be changed out, so it was super easy to put the hardware back on. Just the reverse of what I did before. Remember, this is what the table looked like before. Nothing wrong with it, but it screams outdated in the cherry wood finish. And here's what it looks like now. I cannot express how much I love how easy this makeover was. It took me just a few hours from start to finish. No sanding mess, no priming, no wasting time on top coat. It was super simple, straightforward, and would even be simpler for you with a brush and roller, if you don't mind texture in your paint. With the old cherry wood finish, I wouldn't have been able to put this piece in my home with all of the gray finishes. Gray and cherry red don't mix very well. But now I am trying to find a place in my home for this little cutie. If you don't want to spray, you can brush or roll the paint on. Just know it will have some texture, but go for it if that does not bother you. I recommend a zebra round brush, especially the chiseled tip pointed brush, and then you can also use a mini 4-inch roller. Either way, you don't need to prime, sand, or use a top coat. This paint comes in so many beautiful colors that you'll definitely find one you love too. So give it a try and let me know how it goes for you. Are you confused and not sure where to start with your furniture makeover? Don't worry, I got your back. Click the link in my comment to download our free painting checklist so you can paint your furniture as if you hired a professional to do it.